Today on Top 10 Video Countdown, we're taking a look at one of America's top shows of the 1970s. One that starred Bill Bixby, Jack Colvin, and Lou Ferrigno as the Incredible Hulk.
And now, when David Banner grows angry or outraged, a startling metamorphosis occurs.
For a moment in time, all eyes were on the Incredible Hulk. The series revolved around a widowed physician and scientist named David Banner, who is traumatized by the car accident that killed his beloved wife. Haunted by his inability to save her, Dr. Banner conducts a study on people who, while in danger, summoned superhuman strength in order to save their loved ones. While studying a chart of gamma activity, he realizes that all of the subjects perform their feats during periods of high gamma activity within the sun, while his wife's death occurred during a period of low gamma activity. Impatient to test his theory, Dr. Banner conducts an unsupervised experiment in the lab, bombarding his own body with gamma radiation. However, what Dr. Banner doesn't know is that the equipment has been upgraded, causing him to expose himself to an accidental overdose of 1.7 million units instead of 300,000. Afterwards, an incident involving a flat tire enrages Banner, causing his transformation into the Hulk. He then begins studying his condition along with his colleague Dr. Elena Marks. One night, reporter Jack McGee is investigating the lab in which they work, and as Banner takes him outside, a fire breaks out inside. Banner transforms and attempts to save Dr. Marks, but she dies. He then allows himself to be presumed dead as he travels across America under assumed names, usually finding himself in a position where he needs to help others despite his dark secret, that he turns into a giant green rage monster when angered. In his travels, Banner earns money by working temporary jobs, all the while searching for a way to control or cure his condition. He is constantly pursued by the obsessive tabloid newspaper reporter Jack McGee, who is convinced that the Hulk is a deadly menace whose exposure would only enhance his own career. The series aired on CBS and ran for 5 seasons between 1978 and 1982. The inspiration for the series actually came from 3 works of classic literature. Stan Lee says the Hulk himself was inspired by Frankenstein's monster, while the alter ego of Dr. Banner was inspired by Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In the television show, Kenneth Johnson added the element of Jack McGee pursuing the creature so that the series was not unlike The Fugitive, with Gerard pursuing Kimball each week. Johnson claimed he got the inspiration while reading Les Miserables prior to production. The character of Jack McGee also appeased Marvel by being a reflection of Thunderbolt Ross, an army general who obsessively pursued the Hulk in the comic book series. But that's enough history on the show. Let's take a look at the 10 things you might not have known about the show that Starlog magazine once described as one of the most promising shows to appear in some time. Number 10. A Red Hulk. Producer Kenneth Johnson originally wanted the Hulk's skin color to be red, believing that it would reflect the character's anger. However, Stan Lee stood firm and rejected the idea. In fact, this is referenced in Cheech and Chong's next movie in 1980, some 30 years before we actually saw a Red Hulk.
Hey, sure thing, man.
Speaking of the word anger is the first thing that we see on screen in every episode. The camera pulls out to reveal that it is actually the word danger on the gamma ray device. Nice touch, guys. Number 9. The show is canceled and David is never cured. CBS initially did not want to continue with the series for the fall of 1981, even though the show's ratings were still respectable. Kenneth Johnson claimed that Harvey Shepard, then the head of CBS programming, felt that the series had run its course and canceled it. With 7 new episodes already filmed, Johnson tried unsuccessfully to try to persuade Shepard to buy more episodes. According to Lou Ferrigno's book, My Incredible Life as the Hulk, Bill Bixby talked to other networks about picking up the show, but no deal could be reached in time to keep the series in production. Nevertheless, CBS aired those 7 episodes sporadically during the 1981 to 1982 season. Due to the sudden cancellation, the producers never had a chance to plan a series finale in which David Banner would have successfully been cured of the Hulk. Lou Ferrigno stated in an interview that he had heard the show had been canceled on the radio while he was driving to the White House to meet President Ronald Reagan. He was shocked and couldn't believe it. Finally, Ferrigno contacted Bill Bixby himself and informed him that the series had ended, which surprised the entire cast and crew. This was devastating to Ferrigno, who had become an avid fan of the Hulk comic book series well before becoming involved in the TV series. Ferrigno has often credited the Hulk character in inspiring him to overcome the difficulties he faced related to his hearing disability and other personal issues. Ferrigno was the only actor to appear in every single episode. Bill Bixby was forced to miss one episode due to court hearings related to a messy divorce he was going through at the time. Banner appeared very briefly with no dialogue in the episode, but was portrayed by Bixby's stunt double. Number 8. Barefoot in the Park. The Hulk is always barefoot, but in outdoor scenes, Lou Ferrigno often wore Hulk green slippers to protect his feet. These are most noticeable in Terror in Times Square as the Hulk storms through the streets of New York. Ferrigno once joked that even the mighty Hulk wouldn't want to go barefoot in Times Square in the 1970s. Number 7. Jaws is the Hulk. James Bond actor Richard Kiel was originally chosen to play the Hulk. However, as the pilot began filming, the producers felt that he wasn't bulky enough. Although his scenes were reshot with Lou Ferrigno, one scene with Kiel as the Hulk in the pilot remains intact. This is a brief shot of the Hulk where he is looking up at a tree just before he saves a girl from drowning in the lake. It is said that Arnold Schwarzenegger was considered for the role of the Hulk, but even at 6'2" was reportedly not tall enough. Lou Ferrigno is 6'5". Number 6. A Personal Tragedy. True fact, Bill Bixby wouldn't even allow his own son to watch the show, fearing that it would scare the boy to see his own father transforming into a green-skinned creature. Sadly, during the second half of the show's run, Bill Bixby was forced to face personal tragedy with the sudden illness and subsequent death of his son, followed by the suicide of his ex-wife. Lou Ferrigno observed that as a result, Bixby was never really the same and that his heart really wasn't into it during the show's final 2 seasons. Number 5. A Method Scientist. In an interview from the Season 3 DVD set, Kenneth Johnson stated that Bill Bixby was his first and only choice for the role of David Banner, most likely due to his dedication to projects. When the TV series was on the air, Bixby was very careful never to be photographed with Lou Ferrigno in his Hulk makeup, because he felt that if the photos of the two of them together were to get out, it would destroy the illusion to children and fans of the show that they were not the same person. In fact, because David Banner never has any memory of his actions as the Hulk, Bill Bixby did not watch Lou Ferrigno perform on set, nor was Ferrigno present for Bixby's scenes. CBS tried several times to steer the series into full sci-fi and fantasy elements, such as aliens and other superpowered villains. However, according to Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby always fought back to maintain the show's more realistic and dramatic format. Number 4. The Hulk for Reals. Lou Ferrigno said that he had become so frustrated on the set one day that he stormed off and drove home while still wearing his full makeup and costuming. He added that the sight of him driving as such resulted in a passing motorist having a minor automobile accident. The actor often would not remove his makeup due to the extensive work involved in putting it on in the first place. In fact, to avoid sweating, which caused his green makeup to come off, Lou Ferrigno spent most of his time on the set in a refrigerated motorhome. Number 3. Hulk Smash Car. The opening credits show the Hulk picking up a car and rolling it down the hill. This was not a special effect. The actor playing the Hulk really did pick up the car all by himself. When they were filming the scene, the steel cable that was supposed to help Lou Ferrigno lift the car broke. It was 4 in the morning, cold, wet, and Ferrigno had been working 18-hour days to refilm all of the Hulk scenes for the pilot. World champion bodybuilder Ferrigno was so frustrated that he decided to lift the car by himself rather than wait for the special effects team to try to reset the cable. Number 2. Marvel Says No. When the show was established as a hit, producer Kenneth Johnson was rumored to be considering the creation of a female version of the Hulk. The character would be used on the series with the intent of possibly spinning her off into her own series, as Johnson had done with the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman. Their plan was to take David's sister, a character already established by earlier episodes, and have her receive an emergency blood transfusion from him. Due to the show's cancellation, this story never came to pass. However, Marvel Comics learned of this development and created She-Hulk so that they would own the rights to any such character. The character's comic book origins turned out to be similar to the plan in the show, as the blood transfusion is still the reason for her mutation, but she is Dr. Banner's cousin rather than his sister. Number 1. Bruce is gay. It has long been urban legend that the name of the character was changed because it sounded gay. Both Stan Lee and Ferrigno confirmed this.
When I found out that they were changing the name from Bruce Banner to David Banner, I asked the logical question, why are you doing that? His name is supposed to be Bruce. And some genius at the network said, oh no, Stan, Bruce makes him sound homosexual. It sounds gay. I said, there's Bruce Jenner, the athletic decathlon champ. There's Bruce, well, I don't think I knew Bruce Willis at the time, but I mentioned that. Didn't faze him. No, we don't like the sound of Bruce. So you can't change his name. He's been David Banner. He's been Bruce Banner for all these years, but they were the network and they were in charge.
I don't know if you know this, because when the Hulk series began, CBS changed the name from Bruce to David because they said Bruce sounded gay. Would you believe that? And now we're back to Bruce. And now the Hulk is wearing spandex. Because when I did the series, you always see the Hulk, you see me change back to Bill Bixman. You see only one button open on the jean. But then you see me at the Hulk, and I'm like 3 times the size of him, and you still see one button open. So I see the Hulk being much more sophisticated. Yeah.
However, Ken Johnson stated that this was never the case in changing Banner's first name, and there's no evidence that the network or studios asked for such a change. In the comics, Banner's full name was Robert Bruce Banner, and Bruce was established as Banner's middle name on the series as well. A contributing factor to the name change was series producer Kenneth Johnson's dislike for alliterative names, which are typically used in comic books. Johnson decided that David, his son's name, was more solid.